Hello, people. How's it going? Well, it hasn't started really raining yet. It's sprinkling, but it's supposed to storm. It's supposed to. Well, anyway, it's supposed to rain a lot more than it's raining right now. Um, I want to talk about something that just is. Look. I look at world travel through the lens of a historian, which is what I am, a historian and a writer. I like world travel. I would like to do it. I mean, I am a military brat. I was born in England. I was born in Suffolk, England, 1963, to a British mother and an American father. So I've traveled. I've been here and there. Okay. I like travel. I like different cultures. Uh, I like different cultures, different countries, different peoples. I don't have time for this nonsense of the 21st century man of compartmentalizing every, and I hate using the word race because there are no races. There's one race, and it's the human one. But travel should be about experiencing those things. It should be about, if you're going to go somewhere, you should be able to first, you shouldn't just go to go. I mean, look, I know there are people who like to travel and they like to claim that they're traveling and they're doing this, that, and the other, but I get the vague impression that all they're doing is marking something off a list, but they're not getting anything out of it. They're not acquiring any knowledge about it. They're not reading anything about it. They're not doing anything to say, okay, I've been here. I can mark it off the list. Aren't I impressive? Well, no, you're not. Sorry, you're not. You're not impressing me anyway. My problem is very simple. Okay. I think a lot of people are tourists when they go places. And to me, a tourist is someone who goes somewhere, takes pictures, and buys trinkets and says, I have been to this place. Aren't you impressed? No, I'm not impressed. Okay. The reason I'm not impressed is I don't think you spent any time trying to understand the culture or country before you got there. I think you did a lot of touristy things and didn't do much else. And I think when you left, you weren't any smarter, didn't know anything more than you did when you got there. When I was living in Hawaii, Mrs. Bell was my social studies teacher. She got me into learning and really enjoying other cultures. She used to bring in food from different countries she was talking about. I had caviar, I had pita bread, I had all kinds of food from different places. She was a great teacher. But my point is, I got more out of the culture, the people, the place, because I just wasn't satisfied with I was here, therefore that's impressive. Well, not impressed. Sorry. I mean, look, I'm a military brat kid. I was born in England. I lived in Tampa, Florida, then Indiana, back to Tampa, then California, then Hawaii, and then back to California. Yeah, back to California. And then I moved to Okinawa, Japan. I love Japan. This is one of the reasons why I love Japan, not just because when I was living in Hawaii, I fell in love with a beautiful Asian girl when I was going to Honolulu Junior Academy. I'm sorry, you can blame Honolulu Junior Academy for my obsession with Asian girls. I was probably a year older than she was, but I'm sorry, I still remember her. I still remember her name. But anyway, from Okinawa, we moved, because I was still with Dad at the time, in the military. We moved to Orlando, Florida. And then I moved here. And then I moved to Las Vegas. And I moved back to here. Then I moved to Iowa. Then I moved back to here. I've also been to Guam. Now, I mentioned Guam for a very simple reason. I knew nothing about the World War II battle for Guam. So my understanding of Guam was non-existent. I wish I had. The thing is, I can only mark it off as someplace I've been. I can't talk. I was where a battle was fought or something happened. Because in my mind, yeah, I was at Guam. I've been there. It's a flat island, so on and so forth. I wish I could say more. I wish I could have some better experiences of it. And I think that's part of my problem with some people who seem to think they've been somewhere that somehow means anything to someone like me. I view travel through the lens of a historian. I think that's part of my problem. Is that if you've been to England, if you've been to other countries like Greece or Rome or even Canada, I mean, see, when I would go on a trip, I would actually do research on where I'm going. Got a frog in my throat. I like doing research on things. To me, world travel shouldn't just be about, I'm here. Well, that's nice, but what are you learning? Well, I'm here. Well, what are you getting at it? I'm here. What are you learning while you're here? I'm here because that is a tourist. Me, I have a love hate relationship with tourism. I lived in Orlando, Florida for 11 years. Tourists drove me crazy, and yes, you know which ones. Pretty much were probably the worst. Unfortunately, yeah, they are who you think it is. I'm being nice. I'm not going to say it. World travel should be about ex- expanding your understanding of a different culture, a different nation, a different people, a different language. Traveling anywhere, you should, one, do a lot of research before you even get there. That way you have at least some idea of the country you're in, of, of what you want to see and why you want to see it and why it's important. As I keep saying, to me, travel is about learning. That to me is why I travel. And if I could travel, that would be probably the number one thing I would be doing it for. To learn something, to understand something, to understand the history of where I'm going. It's like I want to go to Gettysburg one day. I don't want to go to Gettysburg just to mark it off a list. I want to have a valid reason. For me, just to go somewhere is not a valid reason. I mean, it just isn't. Okay, I view travel differently. I view it like a writer and I view it like a historian. So when people try to act as if somehow they've been somewhere, and they act as if somehow, this is impressive, it's like, well, what did you learn? What did you acquire? Did you learn anything before you got there or after you got there? I mean, it's nice to visit places. Sure it is. It's nice to get little trinkets. That's fine. But see, my problem is I keep saying is I don't view the bucket list concept, because I have a bucket list, but I have a historical or writer's reason for going. I want to go to Gettysburg so I can understand it. I even want to go to Custer's Last Stand, Little Bighorn, because I want to understand it. I'd like to go to Rome or Greece or England because I want to understand the history of it. The whys, the wherefores, the W's of history. 5 W's of history. When, where, why, when, and who. I know I'm not doing this very well, and I know I'm not explaining my thought process, but what is the point of going somewhere if you're not going to at least acquire some sort of knowledge about the place? And if you're getting any knowledge just from the tour guide, you're not learning anything. You're learning what they want you to learn. You're not learning anything. They're just repeating the same thing they repeat to everybody else. And I just don't view that as educational. I don't view that as a good reason to go as a tourist. I don't like tourism. I don't go as a tourist. It's me. I mean, look, I've been to Mexico. I went as a tourist because I was with my family. I still remember it. I barely count it as anything other than I've been to Mexico. It doesn't mean anything to me. Other than, okay, I've been to Mexico. Big deal. I wouldn't mind going back. I would like to see Baja. I'd like to see the Sea of Cortez, where the giant Humboldt squid are, who will kill you the moment you get in their water. Oh, they will. Humboldts are not nice squid. If you're going to go anywhere, go because you want to learn something. Go because you want to improve your understanding of something or someplace. See, the thing is, that's how I would do it. That doesn't mean that's how everybody else will do it. Anyway, I mean, I'm not criticizing. I'm really not. I just view it differently than other people do when it comes to going places. I think most people really do go places. They see the touristy things. They do the touristy things. They hear the same touristy tour guides say the exact same things they're going to tell the next tour group. To me, that's just stay home and read a book then, because you're going to get the same information on a basic level. I mean, I like visiting countries. Well, that's why I'm a historian. That's why I like writing. That's why I like reading all this stuff. Mrs. Bell in my social studies class on Honolulu Junior Academy got it into my head that cultures mean something. Going to another country and not really delving into the culture, to me, is a waste of time. Blame Mrs. Bell and Faye. Well, you can blame Faye for other things, but, she was pretty. I think I was 14. I was either 14 or 15. I'd have to ask Brian. He remembers Faye. So. I like Japan. I still do. I spent 2 years on Okinawa, Japan. I got into the culture. I wish I'd gotten into the culture that was there. I was a stupid teenager. But I got into it after. It got into my skin. And it's like, okay, I'm going to learn. I like this culture. I enjoy this culture. I'm going to learn more. I think too many people are impressed by the fact that they can check off something on a bucket list when they don't really, they don't acquire anything beyond the basics of showing up. And I know it's me. I know that the problem is me when it comes to visiting other countries and visiting other cultures and exploring other cultures and so on and so forth. I know it's me. I think way too much like a historian and too much like a writer to just go someplace and say, yep, I've been there, now let's go home. I can't do it. I really wish I had been studying the Second World War history. So when I was on Guam for that brief amount of time, it would have meant something. And I think that's my point, is I want it to mean something. If you're going to go somewhere like England or Scotland or Ireland or Greece or Israel or any place, you need to delve into the culture, into the stuff that isn't touristy related. I think touristy related stuff is just the basic stuff. Here's a country, here's its flag, here's what it did. Yeah, but that's not delving. That's just being lazy and not looking deeper into things. If you're going to go someplace, I know it's me. I know I'm the one with the problem because I don't view it the same way other people view it, which is fine. If they get something out of it, that's fine. But I couldn't do that. There are places I'd want to go. I have a bucket list. But I also have a historian and a writer's research and knowledge of the place. I don't feel like I can say, well, I've been to this, that, and the other, and I know nothing about it, other than where it is on the map. Well, I'm done rambling about this subject. I wanted to do something else besides the thing I already did, but this has been on my mind lately. And because it just baffles me, people who like to say they've been this, that, and the other, but if I would ask them to explain 3 things about where they've been, they couldn't tell me. Name me 3 things you've learned that you didn't already know about the place. They can't do it. And that to me tells me that you're a tourist and you really didn't get anything out of it other than a check mark on a list. I can't. I know it's me. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. I know it's me. I know it's my inability to get beyond the fact that going someplace should more than be just showing up and taking a picture and saying, here I am, I'm standing here, and then going home. Never drink root beer while you're doing a video. It's bad for you. Anyway, like, share, comment, share. I already said that already. Subscribe. Behave yourselves, people. You know I'm not going to. Now I'm going to eat the rest of my hamburger that I stopped eating to do this video. Okay. Later.